Maritime Commission designed C3 carrier, Colonel Martin. 492-foot length, 69-foot beam, close to 18,000-ton displacement.
Tell me, is she shelter deck or full scantling type?
Yeah, she's shelter deck. Capacity 12,000-ton dry cargo.
My firm has contracted for 8,000 tons of Australian wool to be picked up in Sydney. I'll need a freighter for charter.
Well, perhaps we can do business. What's your firm name?
Martin Woolens Limited. I, Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin, am the president and major stockholder. Naturally, you don't know me personally. May I suggest that you cable my firm's home office at Fleet Street, London, for confirmation?
Thanks for the suggestion, Colonel Martin. I presume you're traveling in this country with letters of credit?
I have just one limited letter of credit on the Bank of Nova Scotia in Canada. My firm does a lot of business in Canada.
Limited letter? What limit, Colonel?
1 million Canadian dollars.
From San Francisco, the makers of king-size Viceroy, the cigarette with twice as many filters as the other two leading filter brands. Yes, 20,000 filters for the smoothest taste in smoking present the lineup.
So I did as Colonel Martin suggested, Lieutenant Guthrie. I cabled the Martin Woolens home office at Fleet Street in London. I received this airmail letter this morning.
This confirms Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin as president of Martin Woolens Limited.
Well, it seems to check out everything that Colonel Martin told you, doesn't it, Mr. Corbett?
Yes, I suppose it does, Inspector Graham.
So you say that Martin wanted to charter one of your freighters to deliver a cargo to and bring a cargo of wool back from Sydney, Australia?
Yes. He showed me a letter of credit for $1 million from the Bank of Nova Scotia. So we made the deal. About a week ago, he gave me a check for the full amount of the contract, $300,000. It was a draft on the Bank of Nova Scotia in Canada. And all week long, various businesses here in town have been calling me to okay his credit. I wasn't suspicious even then.
So Martin apparently has been cashing checks around town on your say-so.
Yes, I guess so.
What about his check, his bank draft?
Well, it hasn't cleared yet.
See, we can investigate Martin, but so far there's nothing concrete for the police to take action on.
Yesterday, I cabled Sydney, Australia. The outfit Martin said he was buying that cargo of wool from.
Did you get an answer?
They never heard of Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin.
Fred, did you and O'Hare come up with anything on those shoplifters?
Nothing very solid. How about that possible fraud complaint down at the docks?
Nothing very solid there either, Fred. He's a little fella. 5'5" or 6, middle 50s, dressed like a dude, broad English accent. Answers to the name of Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin.
This Corvidian gave us his last known hotel address to Mark Hopkins. We're going to run it down. Well, do you have that London address?
Do.
Look, Fred, send a cable to Scotland Yard. Tell them to check a firm at 757 Fleet Street, London. It's supposed to be Martin's home office.
Right.
Better send a wire to that Canadian bank, too.
You don't have to.
What?
Vivian just called. That $300,000 check bounced. Just got the word.
Let's go talk to Goldsworthy at the Mark Hopkins.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Hello, Mr. Goldsworthy.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
This business call?
Yes. Do you have a guest named Colonel Martin?
Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin? He was a guest. At room 1201. Stayed a week, checked out yesterday. Nice little man from London.
Yeah. Did Colonel Martin establish credit with you people?
Showed us a letter of credit from the Bank of Nova Scotia up in Canada. Said he might have to cash checks here. $1 million is a lot of credit. We told him we'd cash his checks.
Did you cash any?
No, quite the contrary.
Why do you say that?
During the week, he kept bringing me cash in sealed envelopes to put away in the safe for him.
Oh? How much he sold away?
I'd have no way of knowing. He paid his hotel bill in cash, drew his money out, and left.
Did he say where he was going?
No, left no forwarding address. Seemed like a nice little fellow. Said he enjoyed the hotel's hospitality. In fact, he said, San Francisco's a very hospitable town.
I imagine he thought so, too. Well, thanks very much.
Yeah, how much obliged?
Not at all.
Some more of Martin's paper just came in with signed complaints. Close to $8,000 worth, all in the Bank of Nova Scotia.
Hey, he had a real busy week before we got the complaint, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Here's one to ransom house. Payment in full for a mink coat. Might be a lead to the Colonel's girlfriend.
Quite a few here made out to Gumps, about $3,800 worth. Better double check and find out if the Retail Credit Association have notified their members about this man.
All right.
Want to check on this mink?
Let's drop by Magnan's first and find out if our friend Martin has bought any more presents for women.
Well, there they are. $1,742 worth of purchases.
Then Martin wrote checks for more than the purchase price and took the balance in cash. Is that about right?
Afraid so, Inspector. He got nearly $2,100 in cash.
Well, how did you okay these checks, Mr. Kahn?
Well, Martin came in to see me before he made any purchases. Gave me Charlie Covidian as a local reference. Covidian's a prominent businessman in town. His okay is good enough for me.
Most of these sales slips, Mr. Kahn, are for men's clothes, and Martin has already picked them up. But what about this one?
A watch. $1,473.34. Miss Bartlett was the sales girl.
Well, it doesn't say whether it's a man's watch or a woman's watch. Could we talk to Miss Bartlett?
Certainly. I'll get her for you.
You figure Martin's left town, Ben?
That's hard to say.
Well, he must know his time's running out with those checks bouncing back, and he must know by now we're after him.
Well, our details are covering all the depots, and San Mateo County Sheriff's men are covering the airport. And until I hear from them or RAPB, I'm going to assume Martin's still in town.
Miss Bartlett, Lieutenant Guthrie.
How do you do?
Inspector Graff.
Hello. Did you make out this sales slip, Miss Bartlett?
Yes. The watch the nice little Englishman purchased.
Well, what kind of a watch was it, a man's or woman's?
Why, a woman's. Would you like to see it?
You mean the watch has been returned?
Yes, it was, just for sizing.
When?
A few minutes ago, by a lady in a mink coat, just before Mr. Kahn came into my department.
Well, where is this lady now? Is she still in the store?
Well, I think she went out the Stockton Street entrance.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Bartlett, weren't you notified by the store detectives to be on the lookout for Colonel Martin or anyone resembling him?
She most certainly was.
I guess I just forgot.
We all make mistakes. May I see the watch?
Yes, sir. Would the lady's address help you any?
Thank you, Mr. Kahn.
Guess you hasn't had time to get here yet.
Doesn't look much like mink, does it?
Say that again.
Look around here.
What do you want here?
Hi, son.
Can't you go away?
Hey, you talk pretty rough for a little fella. How old are you?
12.
You live here in this house?
Nah.
Where do you live, son?
Next door.
With your mother and father?
My mother. She works.
How about your father?
He's in jail.
What for?
Armed robbery.
What's your name, son?
Harrigan.
Harrigan.
What do you want with Mrs. Gordon, copper?
Mrs. Gordon lives here, does she? How'd you know I was a cop?
I can always spot cops. Since they took my old man away.
Don't you ever smile, Harrigan?
Ain't got nothing to smile for, mister.
Let's wait for her in the car.
A little kid like that. Poor little unhappy kid. Defensive. Beat even before he gets a start. You know, Ben, I don't think I ever met a kid so unhappy inside.
Sure you have, Matt. Only when we meet them, they're usually about 10 years older. Better have juvenile check on that youngster, Matt. Your father's in prison, mother working, no supervision.
Yeah. How do you help a little fellow like that, Ben?
Give him something to smile about, I guess.
Big coat.
Yes, what is it?
Mrs. Gordon, we're police officers. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, dear. I've been drinking again too much. That's what you boys usually want to see me about, isn't it?
How much have you had to drink, Mrs. Gordon?
2 glasses of muscatel. Small one.
Were you drinking alone, Miss Gordon?
I was with Colonel Martin, a very important man.
What time was that?
Well, let me see now. I went down to have my watch sized for my wrist. I'd say it was a couple of hours ago.
Did Colonel Martin give you the watch?
Yes?
He give you that mink coat, too?
Yes, he did. Colonel Martin's a fine, generous man.
You known him long?
Of course.
How long?
Nearly a week. All right. Maybe a week is only 7 days to you. But when you've lived the way I have, like a barroom fly, a week can be forever.
How'd you meet Colonel Martin, Miss Gordon?
At the waterfront bar.
You know where he lives?
The Mark Hopkins. Oh, no. He's moved away from there. I don't know where he is now.
Did he give you anything else besides the coat and the watch?
Oh, my, yes. Theaters, dinners, everything. Oh, it was the most wonderful week of my life. Not so all over, isn't it? Colonel Martin's a fraud, isn't he?
I have to ask you to come down to the hall, Mrs. Gordon, give us a complete statement.
All right.
I took Mrs. Gordon's statement and released it. Didn't have much of a charge, although she admitted some knowledge of Martin's activities.
Well, Matt and I will double-check her home. Martin might show up there again.
Cable in from London. That store was sure glad to see that mink coat.
The address is a storefront with the lettering Martin Woolens Incorporated. Inside, they found nothing but a desk, a stack of expensive business stationery, and a frightened secretary who said she worked part-time for Martin answering his mail.
What about Washington, Fred?
His teletype just came in, too.
Thomas Joseph Martin, small, polite, gentlemanly, mid-50s. Has a forgery record, 3 priors dating from 1935. His prior M.O. just about fits what he's using now, too. Look, down at the bottom there.
Contacts prominent businessmen with phony credentials, establishes a reference, goes to work.
See what it says about his spending part of his loot on needy people? It's the same M.O. quirk the Colonel has, too.
We still have to get him. He's got a week's head start.
Another batch of his paper came in, close to 10,000.
10,000? That brings the total up to almost $325,000. Lieutenant Guthrie. Mr. Herbert, yes, sir. I see. We'll be right there. Owner of a store in Lombard thinks that Martin was just in there.
Police?
That's right.
Mr. Herbert's in the restaurant grabbing a sandwich. Asked if you'd mind going over there.
All right, thanks.
You the law?
That's right.
I'm Herbert, Clarence W.
I'm Lieutenant Guthrie. This is Inspector Greb, Mr. Herbert.
Like I'm telling you on the phone, this guy comes into my store a while ago. He buys a bike, an English racer. Says it's for some kid friend of his.
Well, how about the youngster? Did you get his name or address?
No. Then he pays me with a check.
Do you have the check with you?
Sure. Here it is.
5680 signed R. Fitzhugh Martin. Did he take the bike with him?
Sure did. Stashes it in the back of this big limousine and drives away.
What about the limousine? Did you get the number?
No, sorry.
What made you suspicious of this Martin?
His accent. Very British. But it's as phony as an $8 bill.
How do you figure?
Well, we got talking. I keep a hot plate in the back for coffee, you know. I offer him a cup and he says, that'd be fine. I haven't had a mug of Jamocha all day. That's when I knew.
You mean his reference to the coffee?
Jamocha is strictly Starlingo, straight out of Sing Sing or San Q. But by the time I got wise to him, he's out the door driving away.
How come you know Starlingo?
Used to speak it at Folsom, years ago, of course, before I started pushing bikes instead of hot ice.
Well, thanks, Mr. Herbert. You're very helpful.
Yeah, much obliged.
Sure. Hope you get my bike back.
I wonder who Martin's going to give that bicycle to.
Oh, probably some kid he knows. Just a hunch. You want to play it?
This is my bike. I never had a bike before. Never had nothing before.
Yeah, but this isn't your bike, son.
This is
Who
my
owns this
bike.
car?
My
I do. I
bike.
hire out.
What are you working for now?
A man by the name of Martin. Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin.
Where is he?
Well, he went in that house over there after he gave the kid a bike. A woman named Gordon lives in there. This isn't
Thanks.
your bike. Well, you see, pal, that's the way it is. You wouldn't want to keep this bike if it didn't belong to you, would you, son?
Colonel Martin gave me the bike.
Well, Colonel Martin didn't have any right to give you the bike. I'll take the bike.
What's the meaning of this outrage? I shall make certain that the British consul hears about this.
Your time is Joseph Martin.
I, my good man, and Colonel R. Fitzhugh Martin, late of the Royal Grenadiers, traveling in this country.
Oh, go, Martin.
I don't understand you, sir.
We have you nailed for over $325,000 worth of paper.
Close to 20 grand cash in there. I stashed it in Mrs. Gordon's place. Nice old gal. Knew nothing about any of this.
How did you set up these phony London references?
A friend. Then I forged that letter of credit on the Canadian bank. The rest was duck soup.
Ready to sign a complete statement, Martin?
Yeah. 325 grand worth of rubber. Tell me, how did you finally get me?
Check for $56.80 on Harrigan's bike.
Funny little kid. Never smiled. Maybe I knew that'd nail me.
Well, why'd you do it then, Martin?
Because when I was a kid, I never smiled either.
Go, Martin.
Colonel Martin, tell him you give me the bike and it's mine.
This is your show, boys.
Well, we have to take your bike, son. We're only doing our duty, you understand?
Yeah, I know. That's what they told me the last time.
Last time?
They took my old man to prison.
Okay, Matt.
You got yourself a bike, son.
But it ain't from Colonel Martin, is it?
Nope, it's not from Colonel Martin.
What I mean is, I can keep it?
You can keep it, son.
Matt. Look.
Before continuing with tonight's case, here's a word from next week.
We can't say for certain, Mr. Herbert, but Martin will probably be spending the rest of his life in jail.
Yeah, he has quite a long prior record. They'll take that into consideration when they sentence him.
Was there any particular reason why you wanted to see us?
Yeah, Lieutenant. You know, when you fellas gave me that $56.80 to pay for that bike, you know, that kid's bike, it was in cash.
That's right.
You didn't say nothing else, and I didn't think anything about it at the time, but after Martin's trial yesterday, I got talking to one of the boys from the Examiner. He says he heard a rumble around the Hall of Justice that you two paid for the bike for that kid Harrigan.
Well, maybe so, maybe not. What's the difference? Harrigan got his bike, you got your money.
Yeah, but you guys don't make a lot of dough, you know. So I'd like to split my wholesale cost with you and give you back your money.
No, Mr. Herbert, thanks.
Sure wish you would.
We'll take a rain check on it.
Rain check? On a bike?
Well, in our line of work, we'll be running into another kid like Harrigan someday.
Is produced by Jaime Del Valle with the cooperation of the San Francisco Police Department. We are grateful to Chief of Police Frank Ahern and the men in his organization who have contributed their time and effort to make this program possible.